We bought a van. Back in August 2024, we picked up this J-Pod X from Jayco with a few options to make it what we think is the perfect staff camper for those who put Caravan World together. Now, we've already covered almost 8,000 Ks with this J-Pod. It's been right through the Flinders Ranges, right up the East Coast, and I've just done 2,000 Ks with it through Gippsland and Kosciuszko. Its ATM is 1,323 kilos and its Tare 1,018 kilos, so it doesn't have a huge payload. Its ball weight, however, is very light at 72 kilos. It's compact at a little under 2 meters wide and just under 4.5 meters overall. Now, it is a little bit taller with the optional rooftop tent at about 2.3 meters, but it is still ideal for getting into tight spaces. There are three layouts in the J-Pod range: the Outback, the X and the XL. Now, the Outback is an evolution of the Sport where entry into the camper is via the rear hatch, and the X, like you see here, is from the side, while the XL is a slightly larger pod overall and quite different. The X uses the same body as the Outback but separates the kitchen from the living space with a wall. The XL is bigger in all dimensions, allowing it to have a large side pantry and kitchen and more internal space. I think the X has the best layout. Now, some people prefer the internal living space of the Outback. I think it's harder to get in and out of, and every time you do, say access the kitchen or the fridge, you're more likely to let bugs in. And then there's the XL with its massive internal space, but it is cramped inside. For people like me, this is an easier van to get in and out of and to hop onto bed. So we bought the X and we added on a few critical options to make it staff ready. The most important one being the rooftop tent by Escape, Jayco's own brand. Now, we added that on so there's privacy when staff using the camper, people up top, people down below. We also added on the Fagati hot water service with its shower tent, and honestly, it's the best thing ever. Now, we didn't option on a lithium battery. We could still retrofit one, but as you'll hear in a minute, we don't really need to. So what you see here is a little over $36,000. So to find out exactly what you get with a J-Pod X, we'll start at the front and we'll do a speed run and show you all of the features. Up front, there's a DO35 hitch, a 9-kilo gas bottle that you'll hardly refill, a massive front locker that's too easy to overload, and a jerry can holder for extra water. Above the locker is a 2,000-watt twin-cell solar panel. On the side, the door is double skin with a lockable fly screen. There is a kitchen slide out with 2-burner Dometic stove and sink. Above it, a pantry you can access from inside and outside the camper. Up top is a freestanding 270-degree awning that we have added lights to. In the back, behind the main hatch, is a great kitchenette with exceptional Bushman's 85-litre fridge and a decent amount of storage. It should be noted, I believe new J-Pod X's come with a 110-litre fridge. Around the corner, we have the Fagati hot water service that is plumbed to the sink and shower right beside it. The shore power input is a 15-amp plug that goes straight to the charger and through to a 10-amp GPO at the kitchen. Then there is the second entry door, and above it, on the optional roof rack, the optional rooftop tent, while below it lives an external battery box with a 100 amp-hour AGM battery. I know, we know that battery box sticks out like a sore thumb, but there are new regulations around where you can put electrical devices, particularly batteries. They cannot be inside the living compartment, and they must be more than 1.5 meters away from an ignition source, such as the gas bottle up front or the gas plumbing for the hot water service. Now, some people have moved their batteries into the front locker, or if they have an option, a gas hot water service, into the rear locker. Now, whether that's legal, we can't say, but our interpretation is it is not. This is the best place for the battery from a legal standpoint. And what about inside? There is a bit of storage under the inner spring mattress. We'll also find a projected BMS that is app controllable. And at the bed head, there are some reading lights with USB ports, and for ventilation, there's a Sirocco fan, a roof hatch, and the windows which have block-out screens fitted too. With bedding on the mattress, it is a bit harder to raise it to get access to that storage, and you'll have noticed we have torn one of the struts out of the bed base. It should be a really easy fix, just a bit of backing plate from Bunnings should do the trick. In testing, the fridge, set at about level 3, draws just under 4 amps when running and cycles on and off every 6 minutes, every 15 or 20 odd minutes, which means it'll consume about 1 to 1.5 amps per hour. So in theory, with about 50 usable amps from the battery up front, you should see about 2 days of the fridge cycling on and off before it's depleted. And that's exactly what we saw in the real world. But there's also a solar panel up front. Let's talk about that. So the solar panel is a 200-watt twin cell, and on a bright sunny day like this, we see as much as 6 amps pushing into it. Now, traditionally or typically call it 4 amps, which means over a good sunny day with a lot of sunny hours, say summertime, you should still get about 20 to 30 amps back into the battery. And if you're doing the summers like I've been doing, that's more than the fridge will consume. It is easy to monitor the battery and how it's charging with the app, which also turns the camper on and off. And the BMS will charge a lithium battery. All you need to do is change the settings. And because you'll get more usable amps from lithium, a 100 amp hour battery should get you 3 to 4 days or maybe more. The best part about the J-Pod X has to be this rear kitchen and hatch. The bench height is perfect for food preparation, and with storage and the proximity of the fridge and the easy access to the stove and sink, it really is a near perfect layout. Not so perfect for some is the height of the awning. Now for context, I'm 2 meters tall, so for me access is fine, but if you're a little bit shorter, just get yourself a nice little step. It is such a good awning. It covers the rear hatch and the kitchen so well, and being freestanding on a nice day like today, having it completely clear like this is just fantastic. A little tip for securing your awning, we use Tare gear. We think they're the best, and I genuinely do. We also use one for tying it back, because that little bit of slack that you can get from the elasticity there just helps keep the awning nice and tight without over tensioning it. Now we've added some lights to our awning. They are aftermarket, not supplied by Jayco. We chose to go with a white and orange option just because we sometimes camp in areas full of bugs. The awning could do with a strip to seal the gap between it and the camper's top. I have seen some people lowering the awning on different brackets, which can help. We optioned on the rooftop tent, and it was a good idea. We've had staff in it a few times, and it is spacious and comfortable. But it is a real pain to put away. You need to be as tall as me or carry a decent ladder. You could climb on the roof, but it's not rated for that, so I do not suggest that's a good idea. The mattress is decent, even for a big person like myself, but if you are a big person like myself, you might feel the springs come through, so a topper wouldn't be a bad idea. What about under the camper? So under the J-Pod is a single 80-litre freshwater tank, which can be filled just here. Now there's also a mains bypass, so if you're at a holiday park, you can plug your tap in here and run it straight to the sink without going through your tank. Now this 80-litre tank will last us around 4 to 5 days. I know you can get more out of it, but we do love using the hot water. Now the J-Pod rides on JTEC 2 suspension from Jayco. It's their own version of a trailing arm suspension. It rides really well. It takes the weight well, doesn't bounce too much. Now, in terms of towing, for this shoot, we're using an Everest Tremor, which is a very capable off-road version of the very popular Everest from Ford. It is more than you need for a camper like this. The reality is, with a 1300 kilo ATM, you can tow this with almost anything. We see them out on the roads with things like Subaru Outbacks all the time. Anything with a 1600 kilo towed brake capacity should easily handle one of these. So I've towed 4.5 ton caravans thousands of kilometers, and I've taken small campers deep into the Victorian high country. Where the J-Pod stands out for me is it's a hybrid or a compromise of both pure luxury and everything you could carry in the 4.5 tonner and the simplicity of a small lightweight camper in a traditional camper. But you don't have wet canvas to worry about. Getting in and out is super easy, and setting up when you get to camp, if you're lazy, it literally is as easy as climbing into bed. Now the layout for me is fantastic, and it is what drew me first to the J-Pod. This kitchen, this fridge positioning, this rear hatch, just perfect for me. Not perfect, I'm not sure about the rooftop tent. I don't think I would do it again just because it is difficult to use. I'd recommend to my friends to bring a swag, put the kitchen away at night, and have them sleep just here. Now there is one other thing that I have to mention about Jayco, and that is, it is Australia's largest manufacturer of RVs and trailers. They have over 150 dealers or service agents around the country, and this J-Pod comes with a 5-year structural warranty. Now that is super important for people like me who don't get to use the campers as often as I'd like, but need to know it's going to be reliable, it's going to be easy for me to deal with any small warranty issues. Now again, about $36,300, so not a cheap proposition, but I reckon it's a great deal when you look at everything that comes with this camper and just how easy it is to use.